Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Maddie. I'm a reseller on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari, and in today's video I'm going over my gross total sales for 2023. I'm also kind of like responding to those sales numbers, how I felt about the year, and then I'm also going to talk about my 10 best sales for the year. So it's definitely a very packed video, but I'm excited about it. I do like looking at the numbers, and of course looking at numbers and analytics is how our reselling business will grow. So let's go ahead and get into the numbers. So I'm going to start with the gross total for all three platforms all together, and then I'll break it down from there. So all together across all three platforms, I sold 3,317 items, and that was for a gross total of $63,515.38. On Poshmark, that was my best-selling platform, I sold 2,290 items, and that was for a gross total of $39,799. On eBay, which is my second best-selling platform, I sold 956 items, and that was for a gross total of $21,777.13. And on Mercari, I sold 71 items, and that was for a gross total of $1,939.25. That was a mouthful. All right, so let's talk about my overall thoughts of this year in reselling. So if you guys are new to my channel, or if you just haven't watched all my videos, you may not know this, but starting in June, I did go to full-time reselling. Prior to this, I had been teaching, and I've been working on my reselling business since 2019. But finally, at the end of 2022 and the beginning of 2023, I had enough data collected to say, okay, this logically makes sense. It's trending upward. Every single month, I'm getting better, to go full-time, because it was essentially equivalent to what I was making teaching. So I was so excited about that. I was feeling so optimistic, and it just, as soon as I went full-time, sales just plummeted. It got worse. Our economy got worse, and that's just part of being a reseller. Is you're going to go through volatile economies, you're going to go through tough times, and it's not always going to be what you expect. So I try to keep a positive attitude, but I'm also a realist, and I would be doing myself and my family a disservice if I didn't acknowledge that sales were trending downward and try my best to respond to it. So because sales just haven't been what I want them to be, and personally I'm not really interested in live reselling. I do know that's an avenue and an option. That's just not something that I see myself getting joy from. I have decided in the new year I am going to start a part-time job just to supplement some income, and just go from there and see if that, helps me reach my overall goal with reselling. The supplemental income I'm going to receive as a part-time reading tutor at the school. Again, that's what my background's in. I taught for 6 years, 2 of them in the library, 3 of them in kindergarten, and then 1 in 3rd grade. So I'm excited about that as well, because I still have a lot of passion for teaching and educating kids. So it's a really great way to still involve myself with that other, side of me, that part that misses teaching. So I am excited about this, but obviously this will cut into my reselling time. It is a part-time job that I accepted as a reading tutor interventionist. So it's not like I'm going to go to part-time reselling. I still anticipate spending the main amount of time on my business, on reselling, but it will kind of give me some breathing room, and I won't take, months that are slow as hard, because I do have that cushion from being a part-time reading interventionist. With that said, I'm just going to see how the first half of 2024 goes, and then I may or may not return to a full-time position, whether that be teaching or something else. So 2024 is really like a deciding year for me. It's a make or break year, if you will. On a personal note, 2024 is going to be kind of like a pivotal year for me, because I will be turning 30 in 2024, which is crazy to think about, and I certainly don't feel like I'm almost 30, so gotta wrap my mind around that one, but it's just a number at the end of the day. 30 is still very young. I absolutely acknowledge that. So that is kind of my 2024 plan, is I'm definitely going to continue reselling, implementing strategies. I just may not have as much time to devote to it, and then I'm getting that part-time job just so I feel a little bit more secure and financially steady. Moving on now to my 10 best sales across all 3 platforms. This is data that I was able to pull. It may not be 100% exact because if you guys sell on eBay, you know that after 90 days, it's kind of hard to find the data. So the beginning of the year, 2023 data was a little bit harder to find, and some of my listings were like even gone, even though I sold the item. So I'll make do and try my best to include screen recordings and screenshots where I can. So we're gonna build up to the number 1 best sale. I will say what platform the item sold on, and then of course what brand, and describe the item as well. So at number 10, we have a Mercari sale. I never sell a lot of Mercari, but when I do sell on there, sometimes it's some really good sales. So I do use List Perfectly to cross-list everything. It's super easy. I can list each item on Poshmark, Mercari, and eBay in like a minute and 30 seconds. Like, it's no time at all. And it's definitely worth the money to me. So at number 10, I have a Ralph Lauren black label, which is one of his higher end lines. I believe it goes purple label at the highest and then black right underneath it. Ralph Lauren has a crazy amount of lines, I'm sure you guys know. And it was a green cashmere sweater dress. It was really cute and it sold really quickly on Mercari for $80. So good sale for me, especially as someone who is a bread and butter bulk reseller. Anything $40 or higher, I'm happy, so 80 is good. At number 9, I have another Mercari sale. Look at Mercari making the list. This is an Anthropologie Ophelia dress. This is a brand that I don't see shown a lot by Anthropologie. I don't think it's one of the more well-known lines, and I think they only carry a very limited quantity of designs at Anthropologie, but it was a really pretty dress. I sourced this in Austin this summer, and it sold really quickly on Mercari for $80. It was brand new with tags, and it was in a size large. Number 8 is going to be an eBay sale. This is a Love Shack Fancy, which is one of my favorite brands to resell, and I almost never find it. Dress. This was in the pink balloon print, and it was ruched. It was in a size small, and this ended up selling for $82. Number 7, we have another Love Shack Fancy piece. I got a lot of Love Shack Fancy off of the RealReal and Nordstrom Rack at the beginning of the year on really good deals, so that's why you keep hearing Love Shack Fancy, despite me saying I almost never find it, and if I do, it's normally at like a buy-sell trade or consignment store. So this is a Love Shack Fancy dress. It was called the Sorely dress. It was a white mini dress, kind of just a very popular style. You've seen a lot of knockoffs of it, I'm sure, from boutiques, and this is in a size medium, and this sold for $82.22. At number 6, we have another eBay sale. This is an Alexis dress that sold really recently in the month of December, and boy did I need this sale this month. This was an Alexis dress that I had sourced off of the RealReal, and I did have this for quite some time. It was red, it was silk, and it had like an asymmetrical hem. This sold for $98.55. Finally, we have a Poshmark sale at number 5. This is something that I received for free from my mom. A friend gave it to her and it ended up not fitting her, and she asked a friend if she wanted it back, and she said no, and so my mom gave it to me to resell. This is a Dolce & Gabbana dress. This was purple, it was silk, it was beautiful. It reminded me of like Meg from Hercules. This sold for $105, which is a little bit less than I had anticipated getting for it, but as I said, this year has just been rocky, so I have unfortunately been accepting lower price points. At number 4, we have a really good eBay sale. I was so excited. I found this in a regular thrift store, and I want to say I did pay up for it like $16, but I knew that the return on it would be really good. The brand on this is called Rhode, which is a very expensive brand. It's spelled RHODE. It's sold in places like Revolve and Shopbop, and with this being a maxi length, I knew it would do really well. It was also this really unique green color, and this ended up selling on eBay for $136.09. At number 3, we have another Love Shack Fancy piece. This is a piece that I sourced on Retail Arbitrage from Nordstrom Rack, so it was brand new with tags. It was called the Perla dress. It was a short patchwork mini dress, and this was in a size large, of course a great size. Very mini though, and it sold for $172.54. At number 2, this was another piece that I found at my regular thrift store. Again, I did pay up for this. I want to say I paid again about $20 for this. This was a Michael Kors. It was his high-end line. If you guys have never seen the tag, he does have a high-end line. This is not the line that is sold at Macy's and whatnot. This is and it will say Michael Kors collection made in Italy if you ever do see it out and about. Some pieces do sit for a while despite them being his high-end line, but fortunately this was not one of those pieces. So this was a midi dress. It was a navy blue color, and it was like the perfect dress that you could wear to formal events, but you could also wear it to work if you wanted to. It was brand new with tags, and it did have the detachable belt still with it. And this ended up selling on Poshmark for $200. And my number one best sale is something that I found at my regular thrift store during their half off sale, and I want to say I ended up paying about like $1.50 or maybe $3 for it, something in that range. It was not at all outrageous, and I was so excited when I found these, especially when I authenticated them using real authentication and it came back that they were real. I am not normally like an outward expressive person, but I'm pretty sure I like squealed when it came back that these guys were real. This is a pair of Christian Louboutin heels. They were the perfect black pump. They did have some wear on the soles. That's just what happens to that red sole a lot of the times if the original buyer doesn't get it. Like, you can use some gloss to put over it so that it doesn't like crack as much, but this person didn't, so there was some cracking on the red on the bottom, which a lot of people who buy Christian Louboutins, they realize that's going to happen. But these sold really quickly. They were some serious heels, like I want to say they were like 5-inch heels, and they sold for $244 on Poshmark. So despite this not being quite the sales year that I thought it was going to shape up to be, it was my best sales year ever. I am filming this on December 20th, so I do think that these numbers are going to, of course, rise a little bit, but not enough that it's going to skew the data that we talked about here. That is essentially what I grossed in 2023. I did have some good sales, as you guys heard about, so there's definitely things to be positive about, and I do feel proud of myself for the year. It's just, like I said, also a mixed bag of emotions because I had seen it trending up, and then it hit me really hard in Q3 and Q4 that it just wasn't going to compete with Q1 and Q2 of this year. So definitely a paradox of a year, not quite what I expected, but I'm gonna go into 2024 trying to be optimistic. It's an election year, so the economy might get a little bit better, hopefully. Just in general, I hope that for everyone. If you are comfortable, let me know in the comments down below. How was your 2023? And if you guys did enjoy this video and you found it useful, please make sure that you do give it a thumbs up and you hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this, and I will see you guys next video. Bye!